2K continues their yearly release with WWE 2K25, and honestly, it seems harder and harder for them to create new and innovative features for each year's release. The devs still seem to have a few new ideas up their sleeve for this year, but is it enough to make 2K25 worthwhile? Samits from the Beta Network here, and let me help you answer the question, should you play WWE 2K25? Heads up, I was given a copy of this game for review, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hold back my thoughts, good or bad. WWE 2K25 feels exactly as you would expect from 2K's wrestling sim. Controls are just as smooth as before, with strikes and grapples seamlessly blending together to make matches feel intense and fast-paced. Though there aren't any major additions here, just the same solid power bombs and elbow drops that we've become accustomed to. However, the one small change to the gameplay that was emphasized was the return of chain wrestling to offer a more technical approach to the wrestling. In reality, it's just a shallow minigame that you can opt into in the first 30 seconds of a match before returning to the classic big moves galore that the series has been known for. It's nice to see that the devs are trying to create new ways to bring the more technical aspects of professional wrestling into the game, but ultimately, it doesn't really hit the mark, and I wouldn't be surprised if you decide to bypass it and just focus on throwing your opponent around the ring. Other additions to the core gameplay include diving off the barricade and the return of the alternate submission minigame. These are both decent features and allow for a bit of extra variety, but honestly, they don't add anything too substantial to the overall experience. The devs have also added a new third-person camera, which allows you to enjoy giving your opponent an FU from a new perspective. Well, sort of. And yes, it's an FU. I don't care how many years it's been.
Are you sure about that?
The third-person camera does make things feel a little different visually, but honestly, for me, I still prefer the traditional hard camera. WWE 2K25 boasts an ever-increasing list of match types, with new additions including intergender matches, underground matches, special guest referee matches in different stipulations, new and expanded backstage brawl locations, and bloodline rules matches. Whilst the intergender, special guest referee, and backstage brawl match types are just variations of previously established modes, the bloodline rules and underground matches offer a somewhat new way to experience a typical WWE bout. Bloodline Rules basically offers a no DQ match with backup, basically turning a singles match into an all-out brawl, whilst the underground match is what you get if WWE tried to become more like the UFC, putting competitors into a ropeless ring and getting them to slog it out till one wrestler is knocked out. I personally had a blast with the underground match because seeing your opponent get Irish whipped to the edge of the ring and just fall off was honestly pretty funny. Also, they add some moody lighting to make it feel more underground. All these new match types are a fair bit of fun and do add some variety. However, I can't help but feel like 2K's latest outing is still lacking some much needed unique stipulations. Maybe it's just my nostalgia talking, but especially the SmackDown vs. Raw series seem to feature many more unique match types, rather than just multiple variations of standard matches with some slight distinctions. I would love to see the return of the Buried Alive or Inferno matches, though I am glad that some modes stayed in the past. I know that through custom matches, technically the amount of match types can increase. I mean, making the first blood match is one of the first things I do every year. But again, it is still limited to current rule sets rather than creating something completely new. Super kick that like button if you agree. I am still glad to see that the match types are expanding with each yearly release, but it would be awesome to see a whole new list of stipulations in one release rather than just a small handful each year. WWE's theme for this year's release is all focused around the bloodline. So, to follow suit, the showcase this year will take you through various matches of the current and former members and their ancestors. While some matches will have you repeat history, others will give you the opportunity, as Paul Heyman says,
to right the historical wrongs and change history, to bring more glory to the bloodline. It's our showcase, after all.
Honestly, whilst I did enjoy this year's showcase mode, I can't help but feel that it was a little bit empty. Most matches would have the same, if not very similar, objectives, and it almost felt like I was playing the same match on repeat with different superstars. That being with the exception of the first match, which was awesome.
With the Rock! Choke slam! The Undertaker's back in WrestleMania!
Unreal!
Also, the third or fourth objective in almost every match was a timed one. You would get such a slim time frame to complete it that you had to almost anticipate that objective when going into the match. This was annoying because any slight hiccup meant you would fail the timed objective and would have to restart the match again and again. That is, unless you don't care about unlocking more wrestlers and arenas for the other game modes. Also, in previous releases, this mode would seamlessly blend gameplay and actual tapings of the matches, which added a real layer of charm. Now, I know this isn't exactly possible for all these matches, as some of them had alternate finishes, but it just took away from that feeling of diving into WWE's history, which the previous showcases did so well. My Rise is back once again with an all-new story, this time with an uprising causing a stir on the main rosters. Without spoiling the story, it was decently intriguing, even if it was a little predictable at times. This year's My Rise, however, does feel really stripped back in comparison to previous entries in the series. For one, side stories are fairly minimal. Instead, My Rise opts for live events, which are essentially just random matchups to earn extra skill points. The story also seems like it just speeds through the last third, making it feel like it ended way too quickly. This was quite disappointing, as it made the game mode feel much shorter this time round. There is a claim that there is replay value, though it's mostly just to get all the unlockable content. Thankfully, you won't have to recreate your superstar every time you restart My Rise, as you get the option at the end to just start over and select different personality traits that help slightly alter the story. Also, some of the voice acting just sounds so bland and made impactful moments feel pretty mediocre.
So you got the bad guy, huh?
Well, looks like it.
I know Triple H and everyone is telling you this is over now, but I still think there's more to come.
Saw what you did by invading NXT's secret location and acquiring their Unity championships. Bold move.
Thanks. I don't think you've been introduced to the newest team member in our fight against Mutiny. We've known each other since we were kids.
I know all about you. Welcome to WWE.
My Rise this year is decent enough for a quick playthrough or two, but lacks that drive to make a truly great Create a Superstar career mode. 2K's newest game mode comes in the form of The Island. The premise is that you, amongst many other player-controlled superstars, have been handpicked by Roman Reigns to go to his island and battle it out to get a WWE contract. In theory, this sounded like a cool idea, getting to face off against other players as well as meet up in social hub areas. In practice though, this is a poorly presented mode. From the fixed low-quality wrestler images and text-based dialogue to the annoying amount of loading screens that kills the mode's pace, the island can clearly be seen to be 2K making a WWE version of their NBA The City mode.
Feeling it. Goes for the RKO. Connects.
Whilst the island has its moments, especially with some of the online matches being a decent bit of fun, the overall experience feels a bit like a cheap cash grab that will constantly try to push you to purchase VC to improve your wrestler's stats. You do get a decent bump for your first character if you buy any of the premium versions of the game.
Oh, hell no.
But otherwise, leveling up your character is a massive grind. My faction is also back once again because, well, you know exactly why. 2K's version of Ultimate Team is once again providing the same experience, pushing you to use real money to buy packs to potentially get the wrestlers that you want in your roster.
I don't like where this is going.
There are challenges to complete and people to verse online, but honestly, unless you are sold on the pay-to-win strategy, once again, it's better off to give this game mode a miss. My GM is back once again, with the main format remaining relatively unchanged. The main additions to this year's release is the inclusion of online multiplayer and a bigger roster of GMs to take control of. The online multiplayer is definitely the draw card for the GM mode this time round, as now you and up to 3 of your friends can duke it out to find out who has the best brand. If you enjoyed last year's GM mode, then this is exactly what you would expect. Not many changes, but you can play it online. So I had to give a separate mention to the visual design in 2K25. This is weirdly one of the best and worst looking WWE games in a while. Some of the character models and arenas look on point and look really impressive. That is, mainly in the showcase and career mode. Whereas some of the other superstars look like they were being prepared for WWE's latest horror film. I mean, what the hell is that?
Oh! Ew!
It would be nice to see some more consistency between wrestler character models, but it could be worse. It could be WWE 2K20. WWE 2K25 is a decent new entry in the long-running series, but it doesn't make any substantial changes to the established formula. The few new match types and the inclusion of the island might make things feel fresh for a while, and taking MyGM online will definitely make some fans excited, but most of the game is largely a retread of previous titles, which is by no means a bad thing, but just prevents it from being a standout entry in the series. It's just another fun wrestling game.